On June 8, 2025, in the blue waters of the western Pacific Ocean, an unprecedented Chinese aircraft carrier formation led by the Liaoning quietly sailed into the waters about 400 kilometers southeast of Iwo Jima. This is located in the waters north of Guam, about 1,050 kilometers. In the geostrategic map has a special significance. It marks the first time that the Chinese Navy carrier battle group breaks through the second island chain defense line constructed by the United States, will be engraved in the western Pacific Ocean hinterland of the steel track. The far-reaching impact of this operation far exceeds the geographical breakthrough itself. A huge formation of 16 ships of various types, including the Liaoning aircraft carrier, 4055-ton destroyers, 5052D destroyers, 5054 frigates, and 2 integrated supply ships, with a total displacement of more than 200,000 tons, and 656 missile vertical launching units, constituting a rare firepower cluster in the western Pacific Ocean since the end of the Cold War. Firepower cluster. This steel torrent, called the Annihilation Fleet by outsiders, has not only rewritten the balance of power in the region, but also declared to the world with silent trails that the Pacific Ocean is no longer a country's internal sea, and that China's navy has the strategic ability to safeguard its national interests in the depths of the global oceans. The voyage of the Liaoning fleet is a well-designed strategic maneuver. Since setting sail from the East China Sea and crossing the Miyako Strait in late May, the Japanese air and sea self-defense forces have been closely monitoring the ship. However, on May the 30th, the formation suddenly disappeared from Japan's monitoring field of vision. When the outside world speculated that it might be heading south, it used tactical deception to turn northeast in speed. After 8 days of stealthy navigation, it suddenly appeared 300 kilometers southwest of Minami Torishima on June the 7th, and the next day approached the waters southeast of Iwo Jima. This voyage hidden mystery. Open-source military analysis shows that its disappearance during the most likely 2 routes through the vicinity of Guam. No matter which one is chosen, it means that for the first time, the Chinese aircraft carrier to the U.S. Western Pacific Core Hub implementation of close navigation, and may even complete the circle. This bold route design not only tested the ability to maneuver covertly under complex sea conditions, but also practiced strategic encirclement of key targets, accumulating valuable data for a possible future back attack on Guam, or cutting off its links with the third island chain. The core value of this operation lies in the actual combat verification. During the fleet voyage, J-15 carrier aircraft carrying live ammunition for high-frequency takeoffs and landings across the day and night, the average number of daily takeoffs and landings close to the U.S. military operational readiness level in the complex meteorological conditions to test the ability of all-weather strikes. 55 type destroyer carrying Eagle 21 hypersonic missiles. The range covers the entire territory of Guam, and its Mach 10 terminal breakout speed can be ignored the existing anti-missile systems. The 4055 destroyers, 5052D destroyers, and 5054 frigates in coordinated formation build up afar in the near 3 layers of defense network. The outer layer of the 055 ship is responsible for regional air defense and strategic strikes. The middle layer of the 052D implementation of anti-ship and anti-aircraft interception. The inner layer of the 054 to focus on anti-submarine escort with the submerged escort submarines and the continuous protection of double supply ships. This set of offensive and defensive system has been able to independently fight against high-intensity military interventions in the distant oceans, especially when the formation and the same training of Shandong ships in the southeast of Iwo Jima to form a double carrier formation. 350,000 tons of sea fortress completely subverted the traditional force ratio in the Western Pacific. The breakthrough in the second island chain is essentially the disintegration of the logic of hegemony. Iwo Jima, Minami Torishima, and other islands used to be the key pivots of the United States island chain strategy, relying on the Guam base group to form a blockade chain against the countries of the Asia-Pacific region. Guam was even regarded by the U.S. military as a never-sinking aircraft carrier, with B-52 strategic bombers and nuclear submarine units deployed. However, the Liaoning's approach has exposed the vulnerability of the system. Guam's infrastructure is chronically overloaded, power and fresh water supplies are strained, and a Qian TPY-6 radar program is on the verge of collapse due to China's gallium export controls. When a Chinese fleet armed with hypersonic missiles appeared at its northern gateway, U.S. Military officers were forced to admit that Guam is no longer safe. What is more meaningful is the unusual silence of the United States and Japan. Japan only sent a Haguro frigate symbolic tracking, did not protest. The U.S. 7th Fleet to avoid commenting on the George Washington aircraft carrier to return to Hong Kong in advance of the end of the deployment. Behind this low profile is the Chinese Navy's ocean-going war power has become an established fact of helpless acquiescence. From a historical perspective, this voyage is the inevitable result of the evolution of China's maritime strategy. 1942 before the Battle of Midway, the U.S. Army had raided Minami Torishima in order to reverse the situation in the Pacific Ocean. Now the Liaoning ship appeared in the same area, indicating the change of regional dominance. Looking back to 2016, when the Liaoning first crossed the Miyako Strait and broke through the first island chain, to today's dual aircraft carriers across the second island chain, the leap in 9 years reflects the epic leap in naval construction. According to statistics, since 2010, China has added 80 new large and medium-sized frigates, including 29052D, 40054 and 8055 million tons of large drive. Aircraft carrier power is from 0 to 3. Amphibious assault ship has built 5. Fujian ship electromagnetic catapult technology efficiency is said to exceed the U.S. Ford, with J-35 stealth fighters and airborne police, 600 early warning aircraft. The future rate of shipborne aircraft mobilization will achieve a qualitative leap. The development of 100,000-ton nuclear-powered aircraft carriers is a sign that China's Navy will truly have the ability to exist globally. The ultimate revelation of this operation is the restructuring of the maritime order. When the Liaoning fleet broke through the second island chain, its significance lies not only in the military level, it marks the beginning of the collapse of the US-led maritime hierarchy. The former island chain has been transformed into the regular waters of the Chinese Navy's oceanic training, a role reversal that has shaken the foundations of Western geopolitical theories. With its aircraft carrier fleet as a mobile nation, China has practiced the philosophy of community of maritime destiny. In the depths of the Pacific Ocean, power exists not to blockade others, but to ensure that one's own right to development is not suppressed. With the addition of Type 076 electromagnetic catapult amphibious ships and nuclear submarines to the aircraft carrier fleet, China will form a three-dimensional ocean-going system of aircraft carrier, plus nuclear submarine plus amphibious assault ship. By then, the vast sea area from Guam to Hawaii will no longer be the rear security zone, unilaterally defined by the U.S., but will become a new public area, where multipolar forces coexist. The Liaoning's voyage is the prelude to this silent revolution. It does not need the roar of artillery fire, but only the shadow of a steel ship to write a new law of ocean civilization among the waves: openness, inclusiveness, equality, but inviolability.